Hello again and welcome to Clear Skies Retirement with Jay Kirkwood of Secure Financial Management. My name is Randy Cook and I'm here each week with Jay as we talk about your money and getting your money ready for retirement. And Jay, one of the things that people may have done over the last couple of years as interest rates have gone up, they might have bought some CDs or some money markets. I got a stat in front of me here that says there is $7 trillion with a T in money markets. And so those are things that, you know, rates go up, rates go down, your CDs expire, you got to know what to do then. Are people coming to you and saying, okay, I got this CD and I want to know where to deploy that money next? The article that's in front of me is worried about people who are near retirement thinking they're going to see the market and the market's going up. They're going to put that money in the market. Now it's at risk. And that's a red flag. What are you seeing right now?
Yeah, it's quite a timely topic because we've been talking about this with clients for maybe 18 months or so now. So this is really what happened is nobody has seen, it's down to about 4% now, but at the peak it was in the fives. Nobody has seen a 5% interest rate on a money market since about 2008.
It's a long time.
And that's what it was. So back before I started this business, I worked at USAA in their investment company there. And we had a money market that members could use, right? And I remember in 2007, we were getting 5%. Like it was for almost no risk, 5%, pretty good, right? Yeah. Then it went down to like 0.01%.
Right.
So I'm trying to do the math real quick in my head, but I think that's something like for $1 million, you're going to get $100 in interest for the year. It's just insane, right? And so nobody even paid any attention to money markets. And then suddenly after, you know, how many years is that? 15 years or something, or longer, 17 years. Suddenly, hey, I can get 5% again. So this is what drove that 7 trillion going in is you have people that either had been in the markets and it was at risk and they say, well, hey, I can get 5% now with basically no risk. I should investigate that. You have people that they just had their money in savings earning nothing for a long time and now I can get 5%. You know, if we were looking at $1 million, right, and we said whatever the interest would be, $100, $1,000 when the rates were very low, at 5%, that's $50,000. You're getting an interest, right? It's attractive, and I understand why people were drawn to that. The conversation we had with clients, and they understood it, I said, this is not a long-term solution, right? That's what the problem is. I said, it's not going to be 5% forever. It's going to come down. We're in the fours. Now, over time, you know, it will go down to 3, it'll go down to 2 probably. And then what do you do? What's the plan? Jumping all the way back into the markets with everything probably is not the answer.
So you went into a place there and think about why you put your money there. There's market money and there's out of market money. You were putting money out of the market. So, I mean, bonds kind of are in the market too. I mean, there's a certain amount of risk there, but is it bonds now that people are attracted to? Is it annuities, things that are still interest rate dependent? Are people talking about that?
Yeah, everyone's situation is different. I'll give you an example, actually, from a lady that I just met with a couple days ago. And so she's single, and she's getting ready to retire, and she has been used to investing fairly aggressively over the last however long she's been working, 30 years, let's say, right? And it has paid off very well for her. And she said, well, I'm kind of two minds. Like, I want to keep going because I see growth over the long term. And I said, yeah, but your situation is about to change in 180 degrees, right? You're going from working and saving and having that paycheck and then putting money aside and investing and having time on your side to now we have to recreate a paycheck out of this money that you've saved. And I sure hope another 2008 event doesn't happen because my life gets very complicated when that sort of stuff happens. But we have to at least think about it when we're planning for your retirement, because what if that $1 million you've saved gets cut in half the year that you retire? And she said, yeah, you basically took the words right out of my mouth. That's been my concern, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are in a similar situation. Yeah, we've got some Social Security. We need to supplement that. Can we find a way to take some of that $1 million and have income that we know is going to come in for life? It's guaranteed. We've got that. We've got Social Security. And then if we do that, it frees us up, if we want to get more aggressive with that remaining balance because we're not relying on it for income every single month. We've got that taken care of.
Yeah, I look at my accounts right now, and they're up, and I wonder if I want to let them keep going or do I want to put something aside. There's a guy, his name is Patrick Kelly. He wrote a book, a number of books about retirement. He gives you this kind of word picture here. He talks about a rancher who's got a corral of horses, and he gets the horses into the corral, but there's always that one horse out there that he can't get in a corral. So he leaves the gate open to get that horse in the corral, and all of a sudden, one of them goes out, and another one goes out, and another one goes out, and all of a sudden he's got no horses in his corral anymore because he wanted to get that one horse.
Yeah,
and sometimes
that's a great analogy.
Kind of like us, we want that extra 5% or another $10,000 or another $50,000, and we leave that corral open. And then all of a sudden our money starts leaking out because the market goes down.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to do in retirement, is it?
When you get to retirement, you've lost one of the most valuable assets we all have, and it's time, right? You had time before you retired. When you were working, let's say somebody's retiring at 62. They've decided, hey, I'm going to take Social Security early. I'm going to kind of coordinate my retirement with that, all right? Let's say 62 comes, you haven't changed your investment portfolio. You've been aggressive for decades, and it's worked out well. You didn't start kind of ratcheting down that risk at all closer to retirement. You get to 62, you say, great, I'm going to retire, and the market goes down 30%. It goes down 40%. You're working. You don't really want to, but probably you can work another couple of years if you have to, right? If you have to basically give you that time to recover. Once you're retired, that option is gone. Like, you could go back to work. Yeah, you could. It's probably not going to be at the same pay that you were on. That's what you've lost control of.
Yep. You're listening to Clear Skies Retirement with Jay Kirkwood at Secure Financial Management. And to sit down with Jay and talk through it, let's get those horses in your corral and shut the gate is what we're saying here. Let's make sure that you got that money that you need in your retirement years. Give us a call. Give us a look on our website. Here's our number. It's 210-985-6200. 210-985-6200. Now, you can use our website, too, retire210.com, retire210.com, and scroll to the bottom of the page, and you'll see a form fill there. If you put a little information in there, your name, your email address, phone number, what they ask for there, then our team will reach out to you, and we'll have a conversation. We'll say, hey, what are you interested in? What bothers you? What concerns do you have as we go toward retirement? We'll have that conversation, and then maybe we sit down together at the office and say, okay, how can we fill the gaps? How can we help you with your retirement planning? Again, 210-985-6200 or retire210.com. All right, so one of the things that has happened now as we've gone through the beginning of the year, market's gone back up again. And with Donald Trump president now, one of the things that people like about him is he's kind of a deregulation guy in the financial area. And one of the things that's happened is Bitcoin has gone way up. And I'm hearing, predictions that Bitcoin will go to 700,000 per coin, crazy stuff like that because of Donald Trump. Are there people now that are talking to you about that? And I know that Bitcoin is unregulated and risky, and we don't want to put too much in there, but are people, saying, my grandson says I should be in Bitcoin. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah. So we just had our 2025 Economic Outlook seminar that we did just a couple nights ago. And this was a question that came up a lot is the Bitcoin. And I think part of what's doing that is it broke 100,000 recently, right? It's a interesting milestone. And it's exactly what you said. It's, hey, my kids, my grandkids, they're buying this and they're making a ton of money. They're doing better in their investments. And my response to that always is that if you are going to do that you should understand it's a very speculative investment. Right. The thing that makes it difficult is if we go and invest in a company, whatever it is, like Microsoft, okay, we can go and invest in Microsoft. We have some data that we can base that investment decision on, right? We've got accounting reports, we've got their forecasts, we've got things like that. Bitcoin is the premise of it is that somebody else will pay you more for that in the future at some time. There's no other data that we've got. It's just
it's like buying a painting, you know?
Well, yeah. And so we always tell people, hey, if you want to do it, I'm not talking you out of it. We should be careful how much money we put behind that because it is a very speculative investment. If it does, great, fantastic. You should also be prepared to say, I might lose all of this.
Yeah.
And you should only risk that money. This is the other thing that always comes up as well, is your grandkids are in a very different spot to where you are financially, right? They're probably at the beginning of their careers working and saving, and they're not going to retire for 30, 35 years. That's not your situation.
Right. Now, there are, I think I've heard this, and tell me if I'm right on this, there are ETFs and there are mutual funds that deal with Bitcoin now. Does that give it any more gravitas or any legitimacy when you have it in kind of places like that?
The underlying asset's still the same thing.
Okay.
Right? It's just a way of buying it. So you can go and actually buy Bitcoin and then you've got to store it somewhere. Or you can buy these vehicles, like you mentioned, ETFs in Bitcoin, and you buy the ETF and the ETF holds Bitcoin. You'd still have the exposure. The risk is still there, though.
Well, the whole idea behind we have to mine the Bitcoin. What do I need? A pick and a shovel? Or what is that all about? I don't understand. And if you don't understand it, then I don't know that you should invest in it. And that's probably a pretty good rule. Well, it's certainly worth a conversation. And if it's one that you would like to have, give us a call. We'll do a portfolio x-ray for you. We'll get into our what I call our Get Me to Retirement 5-step process. We'll talk for a while, find out what you want to do in retirement, review what you want to do, and then figure out where you are on that journey to get you there financially. And if there are some gaps, let's figure it out together. Maybe we can help. Here's our number. Here's our website, 210-985-6200. 210-985-6200 or retire210.com. When you go to our website, scroll down to the bottom. There's a place there you can fill in a little information, and our team will reach out to you. We'll get a date on a calendar and talk through this. Again, retire210.com. All right. An opinion piece in Market Watch says that 2025 is a great year to retire. Why? They said, you look at the last 2 years, we've had 25%, 20% markup on the market. That's a good thing. Interest rates, even though they're coming down, are still high, and that's good for retirees. So all the stars are aligning in the economy and the market. Are all the stars aligned for you? So, Jay, would you look at somebody and say, this is a great year to retire? Look at what's going on out there. Or is it more of, what have you done, and are you ready to retire? Is it a combination of both? How does that one unfold?
Yeah, the perfect year to retire is the year that you're actually ready to retire, right? That's what it is. And when I say ready to retire, in two elements. Financially, you have to be ready to retire. Now, we can help out with that, right? We do it all the time. People come in, they say, hey, I've been saving. I think I've done a good job. I don't know what all this means. Let's go through our process and we'll paint you the picture of what does it look like if you retire now or you retire in 2 years, whatever it is. That's the first thing. The second thing is it happens a handful of times a month that we'll go through that process for someone and we're able to give them good news. Hey, if you want to retire with the metrics that you've given us and what you're trying to achieve retirement income-wise, we can do it. It's quite manageable. However, I don't get the feeling from you that you're actually ready to retire mentally, that you actually want to hang it up and you want to stop. And it's not the majority of people by far. It's the minority significantly. Maybe it's only 5% or so. They retire and they're just like, I kind of wish I hadn't retired. And I try and encourage people. I was like, look, you will know when you're ready to leave. Believe me. Like you will know. I just don't get that feeling from you right now. And they'll say, yeah, I'm really not. Like, I like my job. I like the people I work with. It's not stressful. Maybe they get to work from home. Who knows, whatever it might be. And I said, one day you're going to wake up, you'll sit on the side of the bed, and you'll start asking yourself, is there any way I can avoid going to work today? That's probably your clue.
I love it. Yeah, I think that people probably miss that interaction that they have with people, and that's one of the big things they have to replace.
Sure.
Many times it's not the money. It's that socialization. It's that feeling of want and need and,
it's a purpose,
and value.
Right?
Yeah, it's purpose in your life, and it's certainly part of the conversation, which really kind of brings me to my next topic here that goes right along with that. There's a woman that I found online, Shoshana Ungerleider. Okay, and that's quite a mouthful there. But she has an interesting job. She takes care of people who are near end of life, a hospice worker. And she has a podcast, and she has conversations with the people and asks them things like, what did you like about your life? What did you didn't like about your life? What did you regret about your life? Mm-hmm. And she puts them on her podcast. And here are the top 3 things that people regret near end of life. They say, I didn't spend enough time with the people I love. I worked too much and I missed out on life. I focused too much on the future and I lost touch with the present. And when I think about retirement planning and you talking to people exactly the way we just talked about right now, they probably have the finances in order, but they just don't know if they want to pull the trigger and walk away from that job. That really does overlap with what you do, Jay. And you just said you have to have that conversation. You don't look ready, or you do look ready, or I'm going to give you great news. You can retire. Talk to me a little bit about how this kind of a study overlaps with what you do.
There seems to be in the financial planning advisory space, whatever it might be, is it's often approached from just that one perspective of you've got to save, you've got to save, you've got to sacrifice, you've got to sacrifice. You can't do anything because you want to retire at some point. For most people that we see, it's just you can do a balance of both. I think that message of you have to save every single penny that you have, you can never have any fun because you've got to put everything away for the future. I think it almost ends up having a counter effect of what it's trying to achieve. Because it's not uncommon that there'll be someone who comes into the office and they haven't done any savings at all. It's very minimal. It's definitely not going to support their retirement. And we've got to tell them, hey, retiring anytime soon is just not practical with the money that you have. And 9 times out of 10, the response that comes is like, yeah, like, I don't care. I'm okay with that. I'm enjoying my life now. And all right, that's, if you want to work forever, that's up to you, sure. But I think it's almost a pushback against the whole, I can't enjoy anything right now if I want to get to where retirement in the future is, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's really about a balance. And most people, if they're smart about it and they plan it, they can live a nice life now and also put money away for their future. The key is starting when they're very young. Mm-hmm. The problem is when somebody's 45 or they're 50 and then all of a sudden they say, oh, well, I better start thinking about the future. Okay, at least you're thinking about it now, but you've lost 20 years of preparing for this. And I think I'm familiar with the lady that you're mentioning, the hospice worker. I think I've seen her podcast on Spotify somewhere. I haven't listened to it. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a great lesson for everybody, whether we're talking about just finances or I've got a 3-year-old and a 2 and 4. They're about to be 3 and 5. Girls, right? Daughters. And the older one said to me the other day, she's about to go from daycare into kindergarten soon. Mm-hmm. And she's aware of it. She doesn't like going to daycare sometimes. She'd rather stay home and play, right?
Sure.
So she'll get there and she said to me the other day, she said, Papa, I'm going to just enjoy the time that I have at the daycare now because I know that I'm going to be moving to kindergarten soon. And I was like, are you serious? Like, wow. I just discovered this like a few years ago.
From the mouth of babes, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And that's the essence of what she's saying, right? Yeah. Is that like the stage you're in, enjoy it, embrace it. It doesn't mean it has to be all or nothing, but interesting conversation.
Have you had anybody, because I don't know how many employers are hip with this, and that is people who want to, cut back and say, look at their employer and say, I'm kind of on the glide path. I'll probably retire in a year or 2 years. Can I go 4 days a week? Can I go 3 days a week? Can I work Tuesday through Thursday? Can I cut back? I'll take a hit in my salary. Are people open to that? Are they able to maneuver something like that or do it kind of almost a trial retirement?
Yeah, so I have heard that talked about a lot. I haven't seen too many employers actually do it.
They push you out.
Yeah, that's the thing is, back when I worked at USAA, they were talking about like phased retirement, right? Mm-hmm. If it happened, I never met anybody who actually went through it, right? And that's not to say it didn't happen, just I didn't see it on a big scale. We've got clients that are from other employers as well. And it might get there as the labor shortage becomes more significant because more boomers are retiring, right? They might be forced to, just not seeing it right now.
Well, it is certainly part of the conversation. And when we talk about getting together with Jay and going through the Get Me to Retirement 5-step process, sitting down and talking about what you want to do in retirement, taking a look at what you've done so far, your 401k, do you have a pension? What are we going to do about Social Security? All of those conversations. And when we get all of those numbers, then we figure out, okay, what do you want to do? And do the numbers add up? And let's sit down and figure that out together. That's really what I think we all want to know. You'll come out of this knowing a lot more about your retirement possibilities than when you went in. Give us a call. Give us a look on our website, 210-985-6200. 210-985-6200. Or use our website, which is retire210.com. And scroll down to the bottom of the page there. There's a couple of places where you can fill in your name and some information, and then our team will reach out to you. We'll have a conversation about that. And then as you come into the office, it's a free appointment for sure, and we'll go through that process, that 5-step process that I was telling you about. Again, retire210.com. If you've enjoyed this podcast, you want to hear more, have it delivered straight to your favorite podcast platform by hitting the like, follow, or subscribe button. We thank you so much for listening, and we hope you'll join us again next time here on Clear Skies Retirement.
Investment advisory services offered through investment advisory representatives at Secure Financial Management, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed are not designed nor intended to be applicable to any person's individual circumstances. It should not be considered as investment advice, nor does it constitute a recommendation that anyone engage in or refrain from a particular course of action. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate, and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Secure Financial Management is licensed in your state, please contact their office. Secure Financial Management is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Wholesalers Insurance. Jamin J. Kirkwood, Texas Insurance License number 1421850.